Hey, welcome back to WrestleCinema. As always, I'm your host, Joe. And as always, I lied. This episode was gonna come out Monday. It was gonna come out Wednesday. It was gonna come out Friday. But if you're listening to this special Saturday episode of WrestleCinema, thank you. If you're listening to it afterwards, well, hey, I appreciate you just for listening anyway. But I didn't lie fully, because 2 weeks later, as I said, we're trying to make this a bi-weekly podcast. We do have an episode. Here you go with WrestleCinema episode 5. And the movie we're talking about is Jackpot, the newest movie with John Cena and Awkwafina. But before we get started with all of that, as always, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok. That's where you're going to see a lot of our content on social media at WrestleCinema. We're also on Twitter. You can check that out at WrestleCinema. We're on YouTube, trying to create more content for the YouTube side of things, so you can always follow that as well at WrestleCinema. At WrestleCinema on every platform you could think of, we're on there. So take a listen, watch some of the videos that we have, our TikToks. I try and make some, funny stuff. I want to make more content geared towards the movies themselves, but we're getting there. At this point, we're just trying to grow the brand and make some posts and be consistent and continue to grow. But if you're someone that's listening to the show, I appreciate you and I thank you. So this week, we're talking about Jackpot with John Cena and Awkwafina. For our next episode, we're going to be reviewing and just chatting about They Live, the movie starring Roddy Piper. It's a John Carpenter film. It's very popular, has a bit of a cult following, you could say. It's one of those kind of movies. And I'm going to have my first guest in a while. If you're familiar with Project Kayfabe or WrestleBuzz, you'll know who this is. It is Joey from WrestleBuzz. I will have him on the show, and we will talk about They Live. He's the perfect person. So I did a poll on my Instagram on WrestleCinema to see what people wanted to listen, and WrestleCinema viewers, they went with They Live. So we're going to review that, me and Joey. And then I had two other movies that at some point I will review. The other one is the Three-Headed Shark Attack with RVD, and then Money Plane with Edge, aka Adam Copeland. So two movies that we will get to review. And as if you haven't been familiar with the content before, or at least listened to the last episode where I reviewed Legendary with John Cena. So we're following the John Cena filmography. So I plan to do, in between movies that I don't want to review of Cena's, or just to spread it out, we're going to, review other movies and continue to try and, talk about some other stuff. So next week should be They Live, and then we'll move on to another John Cena movie, and then so on and so forth, as long as I like the schedule and how I see things. If people have movies they want me to review in between the John Cena movies, let me know. And then on top of that, I have an entire list of guests I plan to bring onto this show. I'm also planning on ideas to bring this show in person, so I can have some guests in a quote-unquote studio with me. And it'll be pretty fun to actually engage with someone and riff with someone I could see in real life. But, with Joey, for example, that's going to be through a video call, and you'll get the episode. So, yeah, that is our episode. We're going to review Jackpot. But before we do that, we're going to talk about AEW London All In. That show is happening this Sunday. It's the WrestleMania for AEW, so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to, give my predictions, and we can see what we're going to get. I'll probably talk about it in our next episode. So let's get into the predictions for AEW All In. All right, so I got the match card from cagematch.net. If you haven't heard about Cage Match, it's the best internet wrestling database that you could go to for, wrestling content, trying to see who won a match 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Follow someone's entire career on Cage Match. It's perfect. So I have the card pulled up here. It says up to date as it can be. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 matches on this card. So unless something gets added last minute on the pre-show, the 0 hour, I'm pretty sure this is what we have going on. Correction. So AEW All In, the entire show is a 10-match card because you got one match on the 0 hour. I'm surprised there's not two. I'm pretty sure there was two last year. I'm pretty sure it was the Better Than You Bebe versus Aussie Open, and then you had, obviously, the match that's been talked about for years and will always be talked about, Hook versus Jack Perry, because of what happened before the match. But we'll go over quickly what's on the card, my predictions, what I think, and, we'll go on with the movie review. So the 0 Hour, as of now, is one match, surprisingly. They'll probably add one more. We got a mixed tag team match with Tomohiro Ishii, and Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. This would be Stokely's, second match in AEW, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, he's actually had a few matches on here. Okay, so he's had 4 matches. Okay, yeah, and he's actually, I don't know, he's lost 2 of them. Anywho. So yeah, this is a match because this whole Stokely, Chris Statlander, and Willow Nightingale feud, I'm going to go with Ishii and Nightingale. I don't see why they would lose on the 0 Hour, but hey, anything could happen. Ishii, Nightingale, I think it'll be a fun match just to see Stokely get his ass beat. That's probably the coolest part of it all. But yeah, that's what we got in the 0 Hour. So let's talk about the main card. I'm just going in the order that I'm receiving it from Cage Match. So we got for the FTW title, Chris Jericho with Big Bill and Brian Keefe, the learning tree, versus Hook. So this is for the FTW title. Hook was out for a couple weeks after Chris Jericho injured him in the story. Chris Jericho has been the champion now for 125 days as of this recording, so about 127 the day on Sunday. I will be going with Hook. I don't see this feud continuing on any longer. Chris Jericho doesn't need the FTW title. They could do anything else with this gimmick. I'm sure they're going to go for the trios title because they're a trio. So yeah, I'd say you're taking that belt off of Chris Jericho, and it's going to go to Hook. This is an FTW title match, so it will be a bit of a hardcore, gimmick match, because I'm pretty sure all FTW matches have a gimmick to it that you just do whatever. There's no rules. It's an unsanctioned title, so you can do whatever you want with it. So I'm imagining it will be a crazy little shindig, and Hook's going to come on top. I don't see why you wouldn't put Hook on top, especially when rumors about, earlier this year was that Hook was going to leave AEW when his contract was over and pursue maybe NXT. I don't think that's a bad idea, but if AEW wants to keep Hook, you give him the belt. But we'll see. Next match, AEW World Title #1 Contenders Casino Gauntlet match. So far, we know in this match we'll get Mark Briscoe, Evil Uno, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Adam Page. The rest of the people are unknown. You could also assume, with the biggest news drop over the last day, is that Ricochet has signed with AEW, so I'd imagine he will be in London, popping up in this match, probably a part of the final 2, with who I think's going to win, Adam Page. Adam Page has been a bit hot. He's been looking cool since his return, since he joined the Elite, since he did Blood and Guts, since he did the Owen Hart tournament. I think Adam Page is going to win because, think about this. If it's Swerve versus Adam Page at some point for the title, that's a good match. They have history, obviously, so it could go that way. Bryan Danielson, if he wins this match, obviously has had a best of 3 already with Adam Page. They could go for a 4th match. Then, let's say it's Darby Allin, who does have a title match, I believe, at All In. No, All Out. This is All In. At All Out. Yeah, I could see Darby and Adam Page also having a good match. So, all signs point to Adam Page. If there had to be a second option, I'd say Ricochet. And if there had to be a third option, I'd say Orange Cassidy. Because I don't think, since Double or Nothing 2 years ago, I don't think we've seen Orange Cassidy in the world title picture. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get him come in the world title picture at some point. Okay, so that's my pick, Adam Page. And then the match before that, Chris Jericho is losing to Hook. Another title match. I think every match on this show, so far every match on this show, besides the Contenders match, is a title match. So would you look at that? So we got the AEW World Tag Team Title 3-way match. We got the Young Bucks versus FTR versus the Acclaimed. This is a match that can pretty much go either way. I can't tell, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised with FTR winning or the Young Bucks retaining, especially since everyone in the Elite has a title. But I think the Acclaim are going to get the win. I feel like they haven't been champions in quite some time. Actually, that's a lie. They were Trios champs. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Acclaim or FTR. I don't think it's the Young Bucks, but I could very much be wrong. I think FTR is, if I had to change my answer from the Acclaimed, who I think is going to win, also who I put on the paper champion scorecard, FTR would be my other option of who would win this match. I just don't think the Bucks are going to reclaim the gold again. I don't think they're going to keep it. But at the same time, spoiler alert for what I'm thinking about later, I think Jack Perry's going to keep the belt. And Okada already has the belt. He didn't lose. So I wouldn't be surprised with the Young Bucks winning the belt. So this match is probably the only match I'm like, I don't know where it can truly go. But honestly, I think this is okay. FTR can be great champs. They have been great champs already, 2-time champs. The same thing can be said with the Acclaimed. I like the Acclaimed, but I will say towards the end of their runs with both titles that they've had, the tag team and the 3-way, I just wasn't really interested. So you could probably, maybe I'm wrong, maybe the Acclaim doesn't win, but they are, anyone can win this. So that's how I'm thinking about it, but maybe I will change my mind later on, especially with the paper champion. We shall see. Our next match on the card is the AEW World Tag Team Titles, Trios Titles, London Ladder Match. You got the patriarchy of Christian Cage, Killswitch, Nick Wayne, versus House of Black, Brody King, Buddy Matthews, Malachi Black, versus Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio and Wheeler Yuta with Pac. And you got them going against Bang Bang Gang, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, Juice Robinson. Before I talk about this match, I was going to have a rant about it, but turns out he's injured. But I was like, man, Jay White is not on this card. Last year, I know Jay White was going on with, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, but I think Jay White should be having a singles feud going into All In, but he's injured, so it makes sense why he's not. But man, so sad. Anywho, Trios title ladder match. Patriarchy is the champs. I truly, another one maybe I should say. I don't know where it would go. I wouldn't be surprised if Cage, Killswitch, Nick Wayne retain, but I want the House of Black to win the titles. I'm going with House of Black. They have probably been my favorite of the Trios champs since the beginning of the Trios title. I'm going with the House of Black, but man, I think it's probably going to be the Patriarchy. I don't see Combat Club winning it with Pac. Bang Bang Gang were the champs. They lost it to the Patriarchy, but I want the House of Black to win, which means they're probably going to lose. But yeah, House of Black is my winners for this. I'm excited to see this match go down. I think it's going to be a mess. I hope the best for everybody. Christian Cage is the boy, though, so I wouldn't be upset if the Patriarchy retains. Next match, we got the AEW TBS title match. Mercedes Moné with Camilla versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. A lot of people don't know how to feel about Dr. Britt Baker. I know a lot of people don't like her. I know there was that recent allegations of her being suspended with the whole MJF thing going on, blah, 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 blah. Mercedes Moné, another one that a lot of people like, but then a lot of people don't like. Both, I kind of think of them in the same way, kind of, with the way that they're perceived, especially with Mercedes just basically being given the gold when coming to AEW. Her first match was for gold, and here she is as champion. She beat Stephanie Valkyra at Forbidden Door. I mean, Mercedes Moné is great, though. I do enjoy Mercedes. I think she will retain. I don't think Dr. Britt Baker is going to win the title, but honestly, Tony Khan does love him some Britt Baker, so I wouldn't be surprised if Britt winning it either, but I think Mercedes will be champion for a little longer, possibly until a full year. I am hoping, actually, I don't know. This could be, so this is a match where I hope Jamie Hayter returns. I wouldn't be shocked if she returned if Britt won. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe she helps Britt try to win, but no, she's going to turn on Britt or something like that. I just hope Jamie Hayter comes in this match. That's kind of my biggest thing. But I'm going to say Mercedes wins the title. Keeps the title. That's what we're going to go with. AEW title match for the TNT title. I just so many title matches. I'm here trying to read. I don't know how to read. Jack Perry, the champ, going against Darby Allin in a coffin match. Darby Allin is going to be challenging for the AEW World title at Grand Slam, actually. I think I said All Out earlier, but I'm pretty sure he has the title for Grand Slam. And I'm going to assume that he will not win this TNT title. I don't see him being a double champ. We haven't had a double AEW World Champ and something else in quite some time since, I guess, the Kenny Omega. Actually, no, I'm a fool. Last year at this time, Mr. MJF was a ROH Tag Team Champion at the same show that he was, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I think Jack Perry's going to win it. They mentioned over on Dynamite the other day, like, Darby Allin is undefeated in coffin matches, which makes me think he will lose. I can see him trying to do a coffin drop into a coffin and losing that way. I'm saying Jack Perry retains. This is also making me think I think the Young Bucks are going to retain, but I don't know. We're going to go with Jack Perry retaining. Next match. I'm just zooming by because I don't have much to say. My thing about AEW recently is, their matches are really good. Their stories just haven't been really keeping me engaged too much. It's unfortunate. The only story I'm truly caring about are the last two that we'll talk about. But I do care about this one a little bit. American title, not the international title. No, the American title. MJF, the champion, going against Will Ospreay in London. I just don't see Will Ospreay losing in London. I just don't. Will Ospreay has been amazing. He has been my favorite wrestler of the year so far. Seeing him live, seeing him on TV, he's probably right now my number one match of the year versus him and Takeshita. So I'm going with Will Ospreay retaining the gold in London. It just feels good for it to happen there for him. I know he beat Chris Jericho in London, and that was another feel-good moment, but Will Ospreay is the biggest person you have signed in the last year. You want him to have that moment. At least I want him to have that moment. So I'm giving the title to Will Ospreay. MJF could go figure something out. I'm sure from what I've heard, Adam Cole is very close to coming back. They could always bring back that feud to keep MJF busy. I don't know, but MJF as a heel, we'll see what happens. I don't know where they're going to go, both of them, where they would go for after this, but I like to see Will Ospreay win the gold. AEW Women's World Title match, Toni Storm, the champion, versus Mariah May. Toni Storm has been champion for quite some time now. I think she's almost going on a year of being champion. Right now, I see, as of today, she's going on 280 days. Wow, that is quite some time since she won the belt. When did she win the belt? Did she win it at Full Gear last year when she beat Hikaru Shida? Wow. Surprisingly, she hasn't had many. She's had 8 title defenses. I'm surprised. I feel like she's had more, but it's honestly she's just been in so many matches since winning the belt. Toni Storm, been one of the best thing on television in a while, but I will be going with Toni Storm losing to Mariah May, the glamour Mariah May. I think Mariah May turning heel at the end of the Owen Hart tournament was fantastic. It has been that was a perfect heel turn. Since then, she's just been on a roll, and I think she'll make a great champion. Mariah May, gang, stand the fuck up. Toni Storm is awesome, but Mariah May is going to win. I am super excited for that. Also, she's from London, so why wouldn't she win? But hey, who knows? I could say the same thing about many of people who have lost in their hometown, so that is also a thing. But no, Mariah May will be winning the women's title, in my opinion. One of the best storylines in recent time. Ever since Toni went to this character, she's been must-see. and Mariah May being included in all this now with the heel and the rivalry. Watch for the shoe. I love it. Mariah May, new champ. And then we have our AEW World's Title versus Career main event, Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson. This will be an amazing match. Every match that Bryan Danielson has at a pay-per-view is normally one of the best matches of the show. It is incredible what Bryan Danielson has done in AEW. I mean, to think, I remember feeling so many things when this man had to retire, and then I felt so many more things when he came back, and then he went to AEW, and that was one of the greatest things for his career. I saw his first match against Kenny Omega, and I loved every second of it. He's been killing it ever since. I know injuries have been a part of his career. It's because he goes so fucking hard. He locks the fuck in. Bryan Danielson putting his career on the line. We know that, his time as a full-time competitor is slowing down, but he said he will never stop wrestling. He'll go on a part-time kind of deal, which is cool by me because there are so many things you could do as a part-timer, especially in AEW. With that being said, Swerve Strickland has been an incredible champion. Swerve Strickland is amazing to watch. Him versus Will Ospreay is a match I need to rewatch. That is another match that you can argue is match of the year. What a crazy match they had at Forbidden Door. I think Swerve is amazing. I saw him go against Amazing Red recently live. I loved every moment of that too. But yeah, I think Swerve is losing. I think he's dropping the belt. Bryan Danielson has yet to touch gold since joining AEW, and I know he puts everyone over. But when you're putting your career on the line, I don't know. Bryan Danielson, you're getting forced to have this title, my guy. And it's going to be really cool to see him have it for the latter part of his career. I'm just hoping at some point before all is said, before he hangs up the boots, I need him to have one more match with Kenny Omega. Just one more. Just one more to feel. I want to feel something again. I want to be there and feel it. Bryan Danielson is our champion coming out of this. That is my prediction. The last time I think he's ever... I'm trying to think. When was the last time he fought for a title or tried to? I'm drawing a blank here. But at least for the world title, I'm pretty sure it was him, Jon Moxley, Grand Slam 2 years ago post Brawl Out. So Bryan Danielson going for the world title. I'd say he's getting it. It would be sick. It'd be awesome. I'd love it. And that is my AEW All In London predictions. If anything else comes up, hey, who knows? I'll maybe put predictions on the Instagram so you guys can see it. Those are one of the posts that I put them up there so people could see it, but I delete them as well. So, take a gander at some point. Now, let's get into Jackpot, starring John Cena and Awkwafina. Okay, this is our first time reviewing a movie on WrestleCinema that's actually new. Because every other movie I've talked about has been very old. So here we are with a movie that came out August 15th on Amazon Prime, Jackpot, starring John Cena and Awkwafina. It's a buddy comedy. It's a bit of an action as well. It's a comedy movie mostly. And here's what it has to say on IMDb as the little summary about it. In the near future, a grand lottery has been newly established in California. The catch? Kill the winner before sundown to legally claim their multi-billion-dollar jackpot. In theory, that's a pretty interesting concept. I'm not going to lie. When I just knew about the name of this movie called Jackpot. And then later I learned that John Cena's in this movie with Awkwafina. And honestly, I'll be real. The first thing I said was, oh, my Lord. I know Awkwafina has been a thing in Hollywood for the last couple of years. I know Hollywood has been really pushing her, and she's a bit polarizing at the moment, not because she's done anything truly horrible or anything. It's just some people enjoy her, some people don't. Mostly a lot of it could be because of her black scent and her voice. If you don't know what a black scent is, if you just heard Awkwafina without knowing she was Asian, you probably think she's trying to do a black accent of some sort. Best way to summarize it, and a lot of people say it. But that's just how she is, but who knows? But I have no qualms about it. Awkwafina isn't the worst thing in the world, so I don't know why, but Hollywood has been pushing her out quite a lot since her biggest role, which I can't even name off the top of my head. Maybe it's Kung Fu Panda. But anywho, yeah, this is Paul Feig. He's the guy who directed Bridesmaid. He also directed The Heat. He did some episodes of Freakin' Geek. And one movie that people will probably know him from, that he also directed, and this will tell you a lot, is the all-females Ghostbuster movie. So yeah, he has been in quite a lot of movies. Wow, I just noticed a lot of these movies have Melissa McCarthy in them for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe they're related. Who knows? Maybe this is like James Gunn with putting the actors he likes in his movies. Anywho, so yeah, this movie is an interesting one. I'm going to be spoiler free as much as I can, but there's not much to really spoil in this movie. It's very straightforward. I like to look at this movie as not the worst thing I've ever seen. Out of, I'll get to the rating at the end. Actually, I'll say that. But I was telling my boy Finn, I was like, hey, honestly, I enjoyed it. It might because I'm biased. John Cena is really great in this. John Cena is always a shining light in the movies he's in. I'm biased, but I do think John Cena, he's just a really good comedic actor. He has great timing, and that's what he has in this movie. So to kind of let you know a little bit more about this movie before I go on, and this, whether or not it's a spoiler, I mean, it's very obvious to tell what happens in this movie. But I'll try my best to avoid spoilers, but hey, you're not missing much if you're like, oh, please don't spoil the movie. I'll try my best. But Jackpot, Awkwafina, is a actress. She is a former actress. She was a big kid actor, and then she quit Hollywood for a bit. She took care of her mom, and then now she's in Hollywood again, trying to win it big and, get the next biggest role. And there's this thing called the jackpot, because apparently in 2026 there was another Great Depression, and government needed money, people needed money. So somehow only in California they came out with the idea of a grand lottery, and as I mentioned, you win the lottery, but you have 24 hours or before sundown basically that you're up for grabs, and if anyone kills you, they get your jackpot. But the only catch is they can't use guns and they can't use bullets. So you are going to get stabbed, you're going to get squished, whatever it counts to kill someone, that's how it is. And pretty much if you kill someone, as you can see in the beginning of this movie when they basically give a sample of what it's like, they kind of, it's alerted almost immediately once you're dead. The people who are organizing the jackpot are like right there to be like, hey, you just took this person's jackpot. Here you go. Congratulations. Here's the giant big check. So this is an interesting society. As you see, everyone in this world is a horrible person. They suck. There's no good people in this movie. Maybe two, besides, obviously Awkwafina isn't a horrible person. She's the main actor. But the two good people in this movie are John Cena and Stanley from The Office. He plays a role in this, and he's actually a really great guy. But John Cena, his role in this movie is, so with there being a lottery and people trying to live, the people who win the lottery, there is a protection agency. So there's this big, giant corporate protection agency that's like, hey, we're going to protect you. We're going to take away 10% of your profit, of your wins, but we're going to protect you. Or, they take a little bit more than that, actually. That's the big, giant one. John Cena's a freelancer. He's on his own. He's like, hey, I'm just trying to be a nice guy, and I'm going to help you out. I'm going to help you live so you could win your jackpot. And I just asked for 10%. And that's where it all comes down to. John Cena is amazing in this. His comedic timing is great. He has so many good jokes in here. I love it. And honestly, him and Awkwafina riffing together wasn't bad. Like I said, Awkwafina gets a lot of crap in Hollywood, on Twitter, whatever. But honestly, I enjoyed her in this, and she wasn't unbearable. My biggest takeaway about this movie that I will tell people, because it's not, a crazy good by any means, but it reminds me of things like a movie that would have came out in like 2004, 2005, of comedy of that level, where the concept of it is so ridiculous, and I think it's, if done, if a different director had it, maybe it could have been better. No offense to Paul, but the how the production, just the way they try too hard to be funny at moments, and that's what really takes me out of the movie, because I'm like, I just don't care after a while. Like, there's just certain things where I'm like, I'm just waiting for we to move on so John Cena's in the scene, you know, or I'm just waiting for us to get to the end of the movie. And it's only an hour and 45 minutes. It's not a bad time while you're sitting there, but there are some moments where you're just like, yeah, you could have just tried a little less, because there's such things as trying too hard, and when you're trying too hard to be funny, you're just not good. And I really wanted to truly enjoy this movie. Just from when I heard about this, I'm like, I don't think this is going to be amazing, but I love being proved wrong. But yeah, this movie doesn't really reinvent the wheel. But like I said, the theory of it, the concept of this society is very interesting. It's taking up the popularity of something like The Purge, where, you know, people could just do whatever the hell they want. And I enjoyed that piece of it. I just wish if there was someone else writing it, directing it, maybe it would have been a bit better. John Cena, like I said, is the shining light of this movie, but also Simu Lee. There's a bit of a Shang-Chi reunion. I might have butchered his name, but Simu, he plays a character named Lewis, and he's the guy who's in charge of the big corporate entity that's trying to protect people, and they take like 30%. So that is what he does, and he's the cool, or he wannabe cool guy, and he looks down on John Cena's little work that he's doing as a freelancer. He's like, look at this trashy guy, but look at us. You know, they got all the white suits, they got all the money, they're very successful at what they do, while John Cena is just in a very trashy suit and a very trashy car. His character is named Noel, and he just looks like a screw up in the eyes of Lewis, Simu's character. And Katie is the name of Awkwafina's character. I'll try my best to name them by their character's name, but you know how it is. I like saying, if I know the actor's name, I'm going to say it, especially John Cena. But Katie, so the way she gets into the lottery is she just gets thrown into it. She was wearing someone else's clothes in an audition and by mistake touched the scanner that enters you into the lottery, and she somehow won it just by the luck of the lottery. She wins it. And, oh my God, there's so much loud music outside. As everyone knows, I record in front of my window, and there's the problem. Anywho, New York City. Yeah, let's talk about more pros and cons as I try not to spoil, but we will get into spoilers kind of, and my opinions on those. Like I said, this is an interesting concept. It's an easy watch, but it doesn't drag. For only an hour and 45 minutes, you can find things that you enjoy about this movie other than John Cena. I'll say that. There are things you can like, where some of the characters are just kind of, I think majority of the characters in this movie are stupid. Everyone is pretty much stupid in this world. They don't understand what's going on. I have it written down twice in all caps. Everyone is so stupid. Everyone's just so dumb. The only ones that truly aren't dumb are Katie and Noel, John Cena. Also, by the way, if I didn't say it, John Cena just jumps. The way we get introduced to his character for the first time on screen, with Katie, is he jumps through a ceiling. Like, he just crashes down in a superhero landing and just kicks ass. It was incredible. John Cena has multiple fight scenes in this movie where he just looks so great. My biggest con of John Cena all the time in this movie is he's wearing a black suit with white socks, and that irked the hell out of me. That looks so bad. I'm like, why? Why is he wearing white socks? Whose idea was that? Some other fun moments. John Cena stomps a man in the dick. Incredible stuff. The guy was on fire, and he tries to stomp his dick out because it's so hot. And this is why John Cena is also a good person. John Cena is not trying to kill any of these people. He is just trying to incapacitate them, stop them from trying to get Katie. and he'll do whatever he takes, and he'll fight them, but then he'll try and, like, he'll flip them over on their stomachs, so they don't choke on their tongue. He'll, stomp a man's dick out so it doesn't, just burn them. So I thought that was really cool. So yeah, we could get into spoilers. The biggest spoiler here, there's two of them. Obviously, Katie wins. That's why wouldn't Katie win? That's the point of this movie. That would have been crazy if they killed off Awkwafina. So the biggest, twist, but not even a twist, it is very obvious, is that Louis Simu's character is horrible. He is a horrible being. He started this, protection agency, but, while it's supposed to look like that they're just protecting all these jackpots, none of these jackpots have been as big compared to what this one is. So this jackpot is about $3.3 billion. And the other jackpots in the last couple of, iterations of the lottery just haven't been that big that their company should be thriving the way it is and having every expensive car, every expensive person. It shouldn't be like that. And John Cena and Simu, they have history. They were missionaries. They were, killing a lot of bad people and doing it for money, obviously. Mercenaries. I said missionaries. What the hell? They are mercenaries trying to, kill these bad people. And John Cena learns one day, like, these bad people we're killing, they're not all bad, actually. And Simu doesn't care. He's doing it all for the money. Eventually, they part ways. John Cena abandons his mission, and that's why there's beef between Simu and John Cena because of that. So the biggest plot, the biggest twist that also comes from him being a horrible guy, Simu, is that he is killing all of the jackpots that they're protecting. There's a lot of ones that maybe they keep around. That's why you see their names. But there's a lot of anonymous winners, and these anonymous winners don't want to be, obviously, told who they're keeping or whatnot, where they are, but it's because they're killing them to get the entire share of their money. That's why their agency looks so great. So yeah, not a hard thing to notice. You see it a mile away when you see Simu. I mean, the first time they ever show the ad, you're like, oh yeah, this guy stinks. So yeah, that's very obvious of what's going on there. What else can I say about this movie? John Cena loves the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is pretty awesome. The fight scene that's been on Twitter a bit is him. He's tied up and stuck on a chair, and he just is like, all right, turtle power. And he just starts kicking ass, and he's doing the Ninja Turtle rap, and he's just being awesome. John Cena, I love you, man. Please marry me. I don't know what's wrong with me. John Cena is incredible in this with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And spoiler alert, when he wins, he opens up the Nola Bunga Pizza Sewer. It's a pizzeria, and it's themed it's a theme of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there's a funny scene of him getting a cease and desist at the end credits. Another thing that's really cool that they did, there's a blooper reel in this movie. That was awesome. You haven't seen many blooper reels in quite some time. The first one, most notable one recently, Deadpool. Deadpool and Wolverine just did one. And maybe they had time since the movie came out to be like, we need a blooper reel as the end credit. That was awesome. I really dug the end credit. For my boy Greg, if you're listening, Machine Gun Kelly is in this movie. He's actually decent for the little bit of screen time he gets. That was fun. What else? Yeah, Awkwafina, there's some touching moments as well. There's a moment like in the beginning where you get introduced to her character. She's on the bus, and you don't know she's an actress yet, but she sees a little girl sitting with her dad on the bus, and the dad's like being such an asshole over the phone. He's talking about how shitty his little girl was at her audition and just saying horrible things. And Awkwafina comes out and is like, hey, like, if you don't stop being a dick, I'm gonna arrest you. Like, you're horrible. You're doing this to your daughter. So she's, you think she's a cop, but turns out she sits next to an old lady, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm an actress. I wasn't being a cop. And the old lady's so nice about it, and then the old lady steals her watch without her knowing. A little kleptomaniac just sleight of hand steals the watch. Awkwafina didn't even notice until after old lady gets off the bus. And I will say, there's another good thing about this movie. They get some recurring characters in this. You get some little side characters once in a while throughout this movie, and then once they learn Katie's rich now that she won the lottery, a lot of them return in funny ways that I'm like, all right, that's not bad. That's cool. So yeah, I think that's all I can really say about this movie, and I don't have anyone here riffing with me to really talk about it. But yeah, that's Jackpot. That is a Jackpot. There is rumors, or not a rumor, but there's potential that this might become a franchise. I don't know, because I don't even know what the streaming numbers are. It was the #1 movie on Amazon Prime. But the director, in an interview with comicbook.com, or just the site Comic Book, he's like, yeah, in theory, when creating this, I thought about a franchise of like more, like what are the other states or countries doing if they have like a lottery. So that could be something in the future. That would be interesting to see. Maybe we get Awkwafina return. In the end, you see she actually opens up the protection agency under her, but it's free. Anyone can do it. She doesn't need money. She's rich. So, yeah, that could be a thing. Who knows? If I had to rate this out of 5, I'm giving it like a 2.5. I'm not trying to be like, oh, is this comparing this to like The Great Gatsby or something? I don't know, like whatever movie people want to say is amazing, Citizen Kane. I'm not one of those people. I'm just like, hey, do I like it? Can you enjoy it? Can a movie be a 2.5? Like, if you're comparing it to like a Godfather, maybe this would be a 0. But like, no, I'm just, what did I like? Did I like it? Yes or no? Would I recommend it to people? I would recommend it if you have nothing going on. If you're just looking for a random movie to stream and have a good couple of laughs, you can find humor in this beyond John Cena. So I'd say give it a try. So that's my take on Jackpot. And that's the end of our show. If you enjoyed what you heard here, please leave a 5-star review on Apple Pod. Leave a review wherever you can. Give us stars on Spotify, whatever Spotify has. And I appreciate anyone interested in listening. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at WrestleCinema. We got YouTube stuff on the way. I feel like I say that every time, but it's eventually coming. If you want to just follow my own Twitter, it's at the homie Joe Bro. You can follow me there on Instagram as well. I hope to post more on that Instagram page at some point soon. I'm starting comedy very soon, so hopefully by the next time I am on the podcast, you'll hear me talk about that. But with all that, come back for our next episode in about 2 weeks, hopefully maybe sooner, with the boy Joey as we talk about the Roddy Piper movie, They Live. And I'm excited for it. We're going to have guests on this show in many episodes. Hopefully we could get some big names in the future, but who cares? I just love doing this when I can. We'll see what happens, but hey, we want growth. We want success. That's why we're here. So, thanks again, and see ya.